morning. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your morning flash update, and this is for Wednesday, the 10th of April, 2019, 9:10 a.m. Central Daylight Time. A lot of news this morning. So you've got the Congress drilling the head of all the banks going on. We had the European Central Bank president on. We've got today the FOMC minutes, and we have, of course, CPI numbers that came out. Suffice to say, the Dow remains the key index under pressure. And this has become a game of, instead of all the indices, selective indices you've got to pay attention to. And that seems to be what's going on. The fact that we've got a benign CPI keeps the gold bid. The dollar won today probably more because of what's going on with Mr. Draghi's statements, where you cracked under the 113 level in the euro. We are still looking at buying in the yen to a degree and buying in the bonds and notes, as the risk-off mentality is not fully, it's there. In other words, people aren't just buying blindly now into the stock indices again. Energy prices back up just about across the board very nicely, as you'll see, and I'll show you the reasons why in a moment. As I said, the FOMC meeting coming out, but the CPI in America, one of our big numbers, came out up 0.4. They were looking up 0.3. Prior was up 0.2. The core ex-food CPI came in up 0.1. They expected it up 0.2. That's the number that you've got to really hone in on. Energy prices, we know they've been going up, and they are showing you that they're up 3.5% versus up 0.4. March CPI food prices actually were up 0.3. Prior was up 0.4, and earnings flat. They're not going anywhere. The mortgage market, the refinancing and all that's going on, it's nothing like it was last week. This week it's down 5.6% on the mortgage market index. The purchase index itself was up 0.5, and you were down 11.4% on the refinances. So that big wave that we saw of the fall in interest rates, well, markets, that people that want to take advantage have pretty well done so. They're still doing it, but at a much, much smaller amount. Agrill has pegged their estimate of the Brazilian soybean crop at 114.6 million metric tons. That's up from the last 112.9 million metric tons. Now here's something that's scary. The National Pork Council canceled its World Pork Expo event in Des Moines, citing an abundance of caution due to the spreading of African swine fever. The World Animal Health Organization said that African swine fever has now spread to South Africa. They saw an outbreak there in the Northwest province. The organization of OPEC said that its average crude oil production had fallen 534 barrels a day on a month-over-month to an average of 3.02 million barrels a day in March. The lion's share came from 324,000 barrel cut by Saudi Arabia, but Venezuela saw its output fall by almost that amount, 289,000. Now, we're also hearing that as prices are getting where they're at now in the energies, that the Saudis, because they just did this big bond offering, Russia, because they're making enough money and they don't want to choke off the horse and they want more production to happen, there's talk now that within OPEC and its close ally Russia, that maybe these production cuts won't roll much beyond May. European Central Bank. This is all the notes that I'll have in my report today, but suffice to say they've done nothing again. They haven't given you information on the litros. They are concerned about Brexit. The probability of a recession remains low, but they do nothing. And as they do nothing, they're just hoping things get better. For France, their industrial production did go up 0.4 in the second month of the year. Remember, they're back into the February period here. It's down from a 1.2% in January, but ahead of analysts' expectations of a decline of 0.5. So that's not so bad, at least for it. So when we come back here and you look at what's going on, you're probably more down because the market and the euro, in looking at that, it's a lack of action. And that seems to be what the European Central Bank is known for, lack of action. They haven't come back with anything new. They always say that they can do more. They've got plenty they can do, but they don't do anything. So that gave the dollar a bid just because of how that all worked out. You know, one of the things that I like to do is teach, and in the afternoon we talk about technical indicators. If you don't have our volumes 1 and 2 to technical indicators, you probably want to get them. They're totally free. What we did is we put them into PDF format for you. They're each about 20 some odd pages, full color, and it starts teaching you all these different parts, from market sentiment, how you work with spreads, backwardation, contangos, which way works in the spread, what's that relationship mean to the market, Elliott, Gann wave theory. We try to cover a little bit of everything, but in depth for you. How do you get this? And it is free. Either call my staff. You can go to our website at www.iraepstein.com. You'll see a carousel of free offers. Click on it and away you go. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great day, and I'll talk to you this afternoon.